Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad. This is the 45. It is still, as it turns out, still week 19. It looks like there are 7 matches that remain before match week 20 formally starts on the 26th. Here's a look at the next 5 matches that are coming up on a week that would never end. West Ham and West Brom. So Mikel Antonio returned in their last match back to fitness, it looks like, which is vital because they sold Sebastian Haller to Ajax for just over £20 million, and he immediately scored in his first match that he played for them, which he could not do for West Ham. And they lost £25 million on that deal. They bought him from Eintracht back in 19 for $45 million. But I think Moyes will probably turn that money into another striker because I think Antonio's hamstrings are made of paper mache. He's kind of injury prone. Hammers looking for their 3rd straight win, currently 9th on 29 points, outperforming certainly what the expectations we had, and maybe others, perhaps, probably not themselves. I think this is where they thought they could be, given the talent that they've got. Meanwhile, Baggies, 19th on 11, coming off the enormous Black Country Derby win, 3-2 over Wolves. Big Sam doing what Big Sam does, which he's never been relegated. Talk about this all the time. But he's managed to bring in Robert Snodgrass. My favorite name in all of British football. Snodgrass. For some fee, undisclosed, from Hammers. So he was very excited about this. Allardyce was, and he said he's left-footed. So they've got that looking forward to look forward to.
Yeah, it's positive times for West Brom, which is surprising considering they're 19th in the table, as you mentioned. Not a lot of points, and only benefiting from the fact that Sheffield United have been historically bad so far this season. But that win over Wolves is the biggest step under Big Sam, because you had that draw against Liverpool, which was a monumental result in the sense that they're the champions. You picked up a point away from home, if I remember correctly. And it was just a great result all around there, but you didn't get the points you maybe could have won it if you were a bit more proactive. A bit fortunate with some of the penalty calls against Wolves, but at the end of the day, you scored 3 goals, they scored 2, and you got the points. That was a huge, huge win for them, because I don't think we expected to see that. And so for them, that's a bit of a confidence boost. And now West Ham, who are a little shaky, a bit of a bounce back in form, 2 wins in their last 2 in the Premier League. Both sides will be looking at this as an opportunity to try and continue some positive form, and they'll want to avoid relapsing into poorer forms. As you mentioned, West Ham, I think they're going to look for a forward. Not sure who they're going to replace Haller with, but he was one of those signings where it was just wrong time, wrong club. It just wasn't going to work out.
Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No.
And so he's probably...
He needs a whole different system than what Mikel Antonio plays.
Yeah, he'll probably score some goals for Ajax. He'll make another move back to the Premier League side, a top 5 league, and everyone will say, "Oh, West Ham, they were bad at this signing," but it didn't work out. That just happens in football sometimes.
I mean, just to lose £25 million on that, it's not you can't do that, especially now.
It hurts. Definitely does hurt. But if they're able to replace him with somebody who is able to influence the side more in a more effective way with how they want to play football, I think they'll be happy. So for this one, I think you definitely should favor West Ham in terms of the talent. But managerially, West Brom might hold a bit of an edge, so it could be an interesting one in that one.
Next up, Leicester and Chelsea. We talk a lot about Frank Lampard. We have talked a lot about Frank Lampard. At some point, he's got to figure out who his best 11 players are, right? He has yet to do that. He's got something like, 5 players who play the same position and they want to do the same things. Cut inside. And now they're talking about Holland, which I think is a good idea. It won't happen until the summertime, but give them more production as an out-and-out striker. What do you do with Abraham? Werner's a question mark. So is the whole side. Giroud, not going to be there long-term, but a great opportunity for Leicester to add to their 35 points. It's a kind of a quiet 35. They're in 3rd behind City on goal difference. Brendan Rodgers does not have a lot of depth, but they're very, very well organized, and they play good football. Much more clear identity than the Blues do under Lampard right now. It'll be a chance for Rodgers to have a win against all 34 Premier League teams that he's coached against, which is a crazy statistic. He's drawn 7 times and lost 4 times against Chelsea. Is he going to get it this time?
That's a remarkable stat, actually. I didn't realize he was that poor against Chelsea going back to his time with Liverpool. You remember that the Demba Ba after the Gerrard slip. So definitely a lot of bad memories there. But you mentioned how quiet Leicester City have been. I mean, 35, they're ahead of Liverpool by a point. They have the joint most wins out of any club in all of England. And even if City win their game in hand, they'll still have as many wins as them. They'll have less points, obviously. But they are a quietly very good side. And I think they'll like it that way because previously they've been talked about as kind of a dark horse. They've been a bit of a media darling, which maybe that doesn't fit them as well as just being kind of not talked about at all, which maybe they might appreciate. So there's a lot of talk, however, about Chelsea getting a win in their last one was a big deal for them. But I don't know, they don't look good right now.
1-0 against Fulham.
Yeah,
10-man Fulham
yeah,
for 45
yeah.
minutes.
Fulham, I think, would have gotten the points. They didn't have a stupid red card from Anthony Robinson. So that I don't know what to say about Lampard. I've made my feelings clear that I don't believe he's the man going forward. But if I say if this result goes badly, they may want to look elsewhere. But I think, considering how volatile the table is, especially after the draw between United and Liverpool, this table is up for grabs. Only 5 behind Liverpool. They're obviously 8 off of first, but the table's up for grabs for either of these teams. I think I would favor Leicester, especially at home. It's a marginal advantage because you don't have to travel as much. But this is, I think, the moment for Lampard to prove that maybe he's the man for this season. Because if he can get the points here, if he can make a late run, top 4 is going to be heavily contested because Everton are playing very well. Southampton are still not going to go away. Liverpool, you can't imagine they're going to be this poor for so long. Spurs are doing very well. Arsenal, who won today against Newcastle, have won 4 of their last 5. And so they'll get into real dangerous territory if they suddenly are in a race with their London counterparts, Arsenal, who they mocked for so long for being in 15th place. So this is a must-win for Chelsea in my eyes, which is hard on Leicester optically because they are probably a better team than Chelsea right now. But
right now,
I think
not talent-wise, but playing-wise.
I definitely agree with that. I think I would probably put my money on Leicester, but if it all comes down to it, Lampard's the fire under his bum to not get fired might push them over the edge.
He's just got to figure out the selection. Like, who is his... He's trying to play everybody in an attacking formation.
The most painful thing is that did not start Callum Hudson-Odoi against Fulham and is not playing proper wingers. He's playing Pulisic on the wrong side. He's playing Werner on the wing. You need to just get a formation. It was poor recruiting in part where they want to play an attacking midfielder for Havertz. They want to play wingers. They want a second striker for Werner. So it's just a case of there's so many different things you want to do that are just mutually exclusive. You just got to pick one, play those players, and stop trying to do a little bit of everything and just play one style at one time and rotate, have multiple styles. They have a potential for that. It's just I don't think Lampard is tactically well-versed enough to execute that for this team.
I think in his dream world he'd have Mendy and 10 attacking players. Next up, Man City and Aston Villa. This has the chance to be the match that we wanted Liverpool and Man United to be. That ended up being a snoozer. I'm looking forward to this one far more than that rivalry match. We talked about City just being relentless and this Aston Villa team being our favorite team to watch play. They're just so much fun to watch. They have so much joy in the way they're playing. They're just doing a great job, but they've only played 15 times. That's the problem, right? They haven't played since January 1 when they lost to United 1-0. 2 COVID-19 postponements. They had 14 reported cases, playing staff and coaching staff, as of January 7th. They returned to training yesterday being Sunday. They will be fresh, but they could be a little bit off the form that they were showing at the latter portion of last year. City, meanwhile, going for their 6th straight Premier League win in a row. They've got the best defensive record, conceding just 13 through those first 17 matches. Stones and Diaz are the best center-back pairing in the league, and they will likely be the difference against Villa, but I don't count Villa out here at all. I think this has a possibility of being a real fun game.
I do not look forward to trying to say who's going to win this one because I have no idea what to expect from Villa because they've been gone for so long. It's been over 2 weeks since they've last played a football match. We're nearing on 3 weeks when they will finally play on Wednesday. So I'm not sure how the difference is between form and fitness because they're going to be very fit. They're going to be raring to go, but are they going to be just clicking like they usually are? And they're
not going to be sharp.
And that's been a big reason for them is how sharp they were. So I think Man City will be very happy to play them at this exact moment because they dealt with their own COVID issues. They overcame them. And so Villa will want to have a similar reaction themselves because if they win their games in hand, they go joint second with Man City pending that they don't win their game in hand as well. So they have a great chance to shoot up the table from where they currently are in 11th all the way up to potentially second place just by winning the games that they have over their opposition.
I think they're 10th right now. They're right ahead of all.
Well, Arsenal just passed them today with the win over Newcastle.
With the win,
Yep.
right.
So they're now in the bottom half of the table, but they're definitely a top 5, top 6, top 7 team in the league in terms of playing ability and talent nearly, because they have a lot of really talent that's kind of not talked about, like the likes of Leicester or Southampton even. So I'm interested for this one. I'm not as excited as you are because I think City's going to dominate this one, and for the reason that they're not going to be as sharp, I think Man City will definitely take the 3 points in a fairly comfortable affair. I may look like an idiot in a couple of days, but I think that's a thing that's always exists. I'm always looking like an idiot.
Next up, Fulham and United. We talked about Fulham coming off that 1-0 loss to Chelsea. They played the entire second half with 9 outfield players as a result of Anthony Robinson, the foolish challenge on Azpilicueta at the 44th minute of that first half. He will be gone for this match against United, along with Bobby Decker-Dover-Reid, who is out due to accumulation. Can they steal the 3 points? I don't know. United lead the league, but they don't have the same feel as the City side do. That relentlessness, that feel of inevitability that they're just going to grind you up and win. But this is a banana peel match for United, I think. They may have to rotate a little bit. I think they've got to fix their front line. Cavani and Greenwood need to be up front. Cavani the top, Greenwood out right. Pogba and Fernandes they deserve better up front than what they've gotten, certainly in that Liverpool match. Martial not getting it done for Solskjaer right now. Again, it's a prime opportunity for Fulham to sneak in and grab the 3, but Man United have just found ways to get results. As bad as weird as it's been.
I don't foresee that happening personally, because they'll have the match on Sunday, I believe, against Liverpool in the FA Cup, the rematch of the kind of snoozer rivalry they had in the Premier League. I kind of expect some changes. I like the diamond that they played against Liverpool. I think that's probably their best formation against the bigger sides. I'll probably go back to the 4-2-3-1 with Pogba maybe as a DM. Maybe on the left they had him there. I want to see Cavani starting. I think Cavani is their best forward. I think Rashford had a really poor game against Liverpool. I think Martial actually was their best forward because of his link-up play and his ability. He couldn't hit a barn with his shooting right now. He can't put the finishing touch on his shots. But he's kind of lazy. He doesn't do. He's got the best link-up play, I think, out of anybody for Manchester United right now. Fernandes, he had a bad game against Liverpool. You can't expect him to be great every week. I anticipate him doing better in this one because Fulham will be a bit less talented than Liverpool, a bit more opportunity. And Pogba is the kind of guy, I'm not really too sure. He's been running the show for them, and he's been kind of having a resurgence in the United fan base. This is only a few weeks removed from when his agent said he's not playing for Man United again. And so there's a lot of interesting dialogues at Man United and a lot of interesting storylines that this team's on 37 points. They're top of the league, yes, but it also feels like they're one match like this away from just completely collapsing. I don't believe
it feels fraudulent.
I don't believe they'll drop points here, but fraudulent. I think I definitely don't think they have the mentality or the talent to maintain this title charge. Top 4, 100%. And getting these kinds of points, being in this position this season, is great. And if you want to make a title charge next year, the year after, with some more recruitment, you have to be doing these kinds of runs in the league where they've been very good. So you had a good performance at Anfield. You didn't score a goal, but you had a good performance. You kept a clean sheet at Anfield. And so I think that you need to keep the form going. I feel like every time we say that statement, they end up dropping points. So hopefully we didn't just curse Man United. We'll hope for their fans that didn't happen. But I definitely anticipate them getting the 3 points. They shouldn't struggle here. But it's Man United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So there's no guarantees.
But their away form has been good. So it's at Craven Cottage, so maybe that works in their favor. Who the hell knows at this point? Last up for this week, or maybe not, because maybe week 19 will keep on going. Liverpool home to Burnley. Does Liverpool haven't traveled forever? It feels like they've been at home every match we've been talking about them. A football goal is 8 feet high and 8 yards wide, right? And I think Liverpool must be shooting at an infinitely smaller goal, or they're just looking forward in the wrong place because they are scoreless in their last 3. Uncharacteristic for them. They've been struggling a little bit. Right now, I think Salah has 13 goals, leads the league. Mane has 6. Firmino and the injured Diego Jota has 5. No one else has more than 1, right? So very little scoring from the midfield. Not unsurprising for this Liverpool team, but Matip may come back for this match, which would allow Henderson to move back into the midfield, and they could stop playing that pair of midfielders in the back line. They've slipped to 4th on 34, 3 behind top of the league. Burnley have slipped to 17th on 16 points. They are 4 points clear right now, following that 1-0 loss to West Ham. They've got scoring problems of their own, just 3 in their last 5, winning 2, losing 3. Sean Dyche's side are very comfortable always playing defense. They don't need the ball to feel comfortable. But once they do fall behind or they get 1-0 up, they can't catch up or add to that lead. They just, right now, that new ownership group is adding people to the board and has yet to actually add any talent to the playing pitch or the playing field. I don't know whether they have to do something because they can't score.
Yeah, there are some major question marks about this team because they are 17th. They're just outside the relegation zone.
And they've got a tough set of fixtures.
Yeah. But simply put, for Liverpool, this is a must-win. There is no excuse for not winning this match because if you don't win this match, you draw or you, God forbid, you lose your home unbeaten streak to Burnley at home, then you will have winless in your last 5 in the Premier League. And I'm not going to call your title charge dead in the water, but you will be so far off the pace because of the poor form that you've had in the middle of the year. This is reminiscent of 2 years ago when they were a point behind City and a year before that, and then all the years before that when Liverpool were not at this same level. They have to win this match. They need to get more from their forwards. And I think ultimately they need to change their system, do something different, play a 4-2-3-1, bring in Minamino, start Origi, just change something. The definition of insanity is just trying the same thing over and over again. This side is worn out, and they need a refresher. Yoda kind of masked the issues that they've had because he was such a breath of fresh air. He was clinical. He was able to play anywhere on the front 3. He gelled right in, and he masked a lot of the issues that this side had. Well, he got injured. Van Dijk got injured. Gomez got injured. They had injuries to Thiago in the midfield. And now they are at risk of falling off the pace of Man City for the title race. And so if they want to keep pace with them, you have to win this match. End the first 19 with a win here. And it will be a okay first half of the season. Not great considering that you are off the pace of top, but not bad considering the injuries that you've had.
They had 17 shots against United, and I think 3 were on target. They're getting the chances. They're just missing badly.
Firmino is back in his slump of shooting form. Mane is doing okay with his ability to link up play on that left side, and Salah is just kind of being a bit of a ghost right now. He's got the 13 goals. He's carrying them in the goal-scoring charts, and yet his link-up play is so different than Mane, and they're both vital to this Liverpool side. You can't take one or the other. They're crucial to each other working. But against Burnley, who are in a poor run of form, you need to win these points. And I think if Matip's back, that'll help you out because their ability to progress the ball forward is just, it's hampered because you have 2 midfielders in the defense. So I would have liked to see Liverpool have more initiative and maybe bring in a David Alaba, an Upamecano. We're looking at Sven Botman from Lille, just something in your defense to try and help you out. And maybe push at least one midfielder back into the actual midfield where they play. You might help yourself out a bit. I don't think I see Burnley getting the points here, but this Liverpool team is so out of form that I don't know what to expect. But Burnley will sit deep. I'm going to look for Thiago to be able to create things. Shaqiri, maybe again, he was pretty creative. But ultimately, despite their defensive injuries, it's been the forwards that have let them down. They need to score some goals because, like we say with Sheffield United, you can't score goals, you can't win points, and you're not going to get, say, in the Premier League. For Liverpool, you can't get these points against these kinds of teams, you're not winning the title again.
Yeah, I see Burnley getting like an early goal, go up 1-0, and then all of a sudden Liverpool figure it out, turn it on, win this one, potentially 2-1. It's not getting any easier for Burnley, right? They've got this match, and they've got Villa, then they've got Chelsea, then they've got Man City before they are home to Brighton. And that Brighton match could see them fighting to get out of the relegation zones, is what I'm seeing here, based on their form, unless they make some major additions here in the next week and a half of the
Wouldn't surprise me.
Who knows? But yeah, I think Liverpool take these. That'll do it for us. What we think is week 19 remaining, continuing to go on. Jack, Conrad. This has been the 45. Please do comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Look for us on the Twitter at the 45. Take care now.